The future of mobile is unfolding, or at least according to Samsung. Larry Dignan's with us now. Larry, what are you hearing about this, what Samsung is saying about this much anticipated foldable phone?
Well, Samsung's rolling out their latest line of smartphones, but they keep teasing this foldable phone concept, which other vendors are starting to copy too. So I think 2019, we're going to see a lot about foldable phones. What's going to be interesting about the Samsung event is that Samsung is really good at cooking up new technologies. They're not really good at building a narrative around it and telling you what to do with it. So when you look at the foldable phone, there's going to be some ooh and ah moments. But it's going to be up to us to figure out what to do with it, really. From a business perspective, does it make us more productive? Is this like carrying a little TV around so you can view things better? Is it a multitasking device? Should it be, connected to their DeX system, which basically turns into a little computer? Can this thing double as a laptop or a tablet? Not really sure. I've been kind of stumping my brain to figure out what I would do with this thing other than spend a lot of money and go, wow, this is a really cool foldable phone. And I think that's going to be a really big challenge for Samsung, right? It's one thing to have the screen technology, and that's awesome. It's also going to be awesome to, theoretically have a much bigger screen and a smaller footprint. But as far as the business productivity uses and sort of what would you do with it, I think it gets tricky. And that's the peril with Samsung. Samsung historically has tossed in a lot of new features, and we all go, wow, that's cool. I don't really know what to do with it, but that's fine. That said, over time, it kind of works out for Samsung, right? Because Samsung came out with the phablet, and we were all kind of mocking it forever. And now we all have phablets, right? We all have these massive screen devices. So maybe the foldable phone's similar to that. But I think it's going to take a little mental leap to figure out how this makes my life dramatically better. Unless it's cheap. Like if it's not terribly expensive, if it's like, say, $1,100 or what you'd pay for the Galaxy Note, then maybe it's worth it. But I really think it's just going to be tricky to find use cases for it.
Well, and Larry, we've talked about, the smartphone industry, of course, as a whole is kind of slowing down. So this announcement isn't necessarily, or do you think it is the spark that's needed?
Well, I think it needs something. I don't know if a foldable phone is that something. But, tip of the cap to Samsung for trying to popularize this, right? Because the smartphone industry has basically, it's gone flatlined. Phones are expensive. You can get the premium phones are really expensive. You can get phones with just as good specs or good enough specs for sure for much cheaper. The camera technology is, it improves, but that's not really a reason to buy a phone every year. And we're just stretching these things out longer and longer. So you need a foldable phone or some sort of gotcha moment, or some moment makes you go, ooh, right? So the foldable phone is in that market, right? I don't know if, Samsung can take a foldable phone and spark a whole smartphone industry, because it's still going to run into that same issue, which is the price is not going to be cheap. So, it's a premium device, and you're going to have other vendors, especially the Android vendors in China, come out with foldable phones that will be cheaper. So it might give Samsung some pricing air cover for a bit, but it probably won't last too long.
And any word, Larry, on different models or sizes of what they're expected to see them roll out?
Most of the changes that we've seen coming down the pike are that the sizes will be roughly the same. What will change is that the bezels will be much tighter. The camera technology will be improved. But really, it's all about that foldable phone. So otherwise, you're just coming out with an upgrade that is, sort of incremental. And the other thing with Samsung is they have this cadence where they come out with the Galaxy S10, and then, in the summer, they're going to come out with the Note 10. So which is the flagship? Should you wait? Should you not? I mean, if you're a Samsung loyalist, you might be more inclined to wait for the Note anyway. So that's always a tension with Samsung too. But the foldable phone is definitely going to be the thing we're all watching for, because, the smartphone industry needs a jolt in the arm.
Most certainly. That's definitely what we would be oohing and ahhing over, would be a foldable phone. And, the Unpack Press conference, of course, is set for February 20th, Larry. So talk about that a little bit. I guess there's no surprises in store. Or do we pretty much know what's going to be said there?
A lot of it has been leaked so far. And I think, the event, it's in San Francisco. It's not a Mobile World Congress like it has been in the past. And I think the event's really going to be about showcasing Samsung, as an innovation platform. I think the other thing I'll be looking for is a software. How's the user experience look? Like they're trying to simplify things. So there'll all be critical things. Like the Samsung UI is kind of bloated. So I'll be looking for, something simpler. I'll be looking for, the screen size. The camera improvements are always big. And on that front, it's sort of, can Samsung replicate what Google's done with the Pixel 3, where you can take pictures in the dark without a flash? That's a big innovation, and it'll be interesting to see if they follow up with something like that.
Yeah, it'll definitely all be interesting to see, Larry, and I know you'll be following it closely. So we look forward to, as we head into the next couple of days, to see what unfolds with this. And for more, of course, on Larry's story on Samsung, you can check out ZDNet.